Hi, Anthony Carruthers, Better Lesson Master Teacher Project, and in this screencast, I'll be talking about how I get students to strategically choose their own auxiliary segments. So the big idea, or one of the big ideas for this unit, is the power of auxiliary segments. So as we progress through the lesson sequence, I want students to get more and more intentional about choosing their own auxiliary segments. For this particular proof, we're proving that the measure of angle AEB, which is here, is equal to the measure of angle CED, and that these measures are equal to the sum, or rather half the sum, of the measure of arc CD and the measure of arc AB. So the first thing is for students to realize that we have choices for auxiliary segments. So I'd have them brainstorm and come up with the 4 auxiliary segments that are possible in this diagram. So after about a minute or so of brainstorming, get some students to share their thoughts, and hopefully we come up with the fact that we can draw a segment CD or a segment DB or AB or AC. Okay, so I would pick one of these segments to draw as an example or kind of illustrative example, and I'll be careful to choose one that's not the correct one. So for example, I would choose segment CD. So when I drew auxiliary segment CD, I want to ask students first, which 2 angles were created as a result of adding segment CD. So again, I give them some time to look at the diagram, analyze it on their own, and then discuss it with their partner. And as we share out, it would come out hopefully that the angles created were angle D and angle C. My follow-up question to that would be which arcs in the diagram are related to those new angles that we've created. So as we can see, angle C is related to arc DB, and the relationship is that it's half the measure of arc BD, and angle D is related to arc CA, and again it's inscribed, so it's equal to half the measure of arc AC. So then we kind of look back at the proof, and I would ask students, are these the arcs that we wanted to involve in order to help us write the proof that we're writing? And so we could see that no, those are not the 2 arcs that we had wanted to involve. So we would backtrack on that idea, and then I would hand it over to students to say, okay, so of the 3 arcs, the 3 auxiliary segments that are still remaining, determine whether each one will suit our purposes. In other words, will it create angles that actually involve the arcs that we want to involve for this proof? And then I give them time to do that. So as they analyze the cases, they would hopefully see that drawing segment CA, for example, creates 2 angles that intercept arcs AB and arc CD. So that would be a valid choice. And then hopefully they will also see that drawing segment DB also involves those same 2 arcs, so it would also be a valid choice. And finally, hopefully they would see that drawing segment AB involves arcs AC and arc DB, and those are not the ones that we want to involve. So from there, they walk away knowing that they have 2 choices, either to draw segment AC or DB, and they won't feel that it's just an arbitrary choice or that they're just doing kind of what I've told them to do. They understand the choice of the auxiliary segment and have a better feel for how that process actually goes. So Anthony Carruthers, Better Lesson, Master Teacher Project.